All right, right now it doesn't make sense, but let me tell you something. Last summer I got in the hospital. I ended up in a hospital. But while I was in the hospital, a nurse came in and she started to talk to my mom. I didn't really understand what they were talking about, so I just ignored them. After that, another doctor came in, but she was holding a huge needle. Like, I'm not even kidding. That's the normal size of an IV needle, but this thing was huge, and it was terrifying. I have an irrational fear of needles, so this was crazy. So she comes next to me, and she grabs my arm, and she asks, "Can I look at it?" But there was nothing wrong with my arm. So I was guessing that she was about to put the needle through my arm. So before she could do that, I was gonna run halfway across the hospital, jump in my parents' car, grab the keys, and drive myself home. But before I could do that, another doctor came in, but she was holding like an iPad computer thing, and she started to show me funny videos. And they were actually pretty funny. So I was laughing for a while, and after that same doctor with the needle, she came back up to me and she said, "Oh wow, thank you for being so patient." I turned to look at my arm, and there was the needle connected to an IV, and I didn't feel anything. So I turned to the doctor and I said, "Wow, that numbing medicine really worked." And she said, "What numbing medicine?" So I told you a story about me and laughing, but what I didn't tell you is that laughing can do three main things. One, it can improve your social life. Two, it can improve your mental health. And three, it can improve your overall health. So let's talk about the first one. Laughing can improve your mental health. Who here has your social health, your social life? Well, who here has accidentally said the wrong thing in front of someone? A lot of people, that's great. So laughing can improve your communicational skills. So you don't do that anymore. Like music, laughing is a transcendent language, which means when you laugh, people can understand you and your intentions better. Who knows what America's funniest videos are? Did you know that if you went to a place in Germany, went up to someone, showed them that video, but they did not speak English, they would know what you're talking about? Because America's Funny Videos is broadcasted in 300 different countries. Communication with others is really important. And a really weird way to practice it is through laughing. It's a real thing. It's really weird. But there's also goat yoga. But that's a story for another day. Not only does laughing make you a better communicator, but it also makes you more approachable. People will generally want to be with someone who's more friendly. Halfway through quarter three, I sent out a form to see what other people thought. And turns out, 97% of people said that they would rather be friends with someone who laughs more. And 64% of people said that yes, they would trust someone more if they laughed often. Laughing will not be the only thing that makes your social life better, but you also need a strong mental health. And yes, laughing can help in that too. When you laugh, a chemical change happens in your brain. There are 4 main chemicals that make you feel good. 1, dopamine. 2, serotonin. 3, oxytocin. And 4, endorphins. The one that I'm going to talk about today is endorphins. That's the one that makes you laugh. I searched on Google to find a good picture on how this chemical change is created. This is my small Natalia. She has to make sure that all these emotions are good. So you don't randomly flip over your desk in the middle of English class. The miniature version of me will look up at the screen and see that I'm laughing. It will take a while, but they'll come in. Seconds after, these will come in. At first, there's not many of them, maybe 3 or 5. But laughing is like a virus. Laughing is like a virus because it's contagious too. And now they're everywhere. But anyway, remember when I said that laughing is like a virus because it's contagious? Well, actually laughing can prevent a virus. When you laugh, an antibody is created. And antibodies are these really small cells that keep your body from getting infections. I'm allergic to wood glue. Wait, sorry. Not all the time antibodies are correct. I'm allergic to wood glue, so the antibodies in my body think that it's a deadly virus, but it really isn't. So that's why I'll get a rash on my hand. Even though allergies have nothing to do with laughing, it's still an interesting thing to know about. When you laugh, antibodies aren't the only thing that's created. When you laugh, you have a lesser chance of having a heart attack in the future. This is because before you laugh, your blood vessels start out this big. But when you laugh, it relaxes, so it gets bigger and more blood can flow through. Your blood vessels aren't the only thing that relaxes when you laugh. So do your muscles. So after, let's say, doing a really exhausting workout, try laughing. You'll be surprised at what the result would be. In the late 1960s, there was a project done called the Laughing Project, and a bunch of these doctors will take 30 to 40 people into a room, and those people will go through laughing treatment. This was just for a week, and for a week of the laughing treatment, 90% of all patients came out cured. And it was really interesting. Even though it was just 1 week, it still made a huge impact. And I'm pretty sure if it was a little bit longer, that other 10% would be able to be cured as well. Now, how much of what I told you, makes you want to laugh more? How much of what I said was actually really helpful to you? Before you leave here today and move on with your lives, I want you to remember one question. What would happen if nobody laughed?